Hello everybody and welcome to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode 150. I am not going to front and call it 149.5 because that is a bitch move and I'm not going to do it. So, welcome to episode 150. It is not video. We'll do that next week. We'll get to it.
Assuming that enough of us are here next week, that is.
Anyone planning on not being here?
Me?
Zero doesn't count? Cool. Okay. So, hi, I'm Casey. Nice to meet you. How you doing? With me, we've got Zero.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Patient.
Good afternoon.
Very polite. And Kenshua.
Hi, I'm Kenchi618, and if I have any advice for you today, audience, it's this. Whatever you do, don't lose your dinosaur.
That's very solid advice right there.
I know there's an internet song about dinosaurs, but I can't remember how it goes.
It has nothing to do with this.
Something on the floor, something...
Get on the
something
floor.
dinosaur.
Everybody do the dinosaur.
Everybody walk the dinosaur, damn it.
Yeah, I know.
And that song has nothing to do with this.
I know.
It's about dinosaurs.
So, as usual, today's broadcast is going to partake of us going off on tangents, arguing with each other, and probably wasting most of the 2 hours broadcast, as opposed to getting to the topics for today.
It's not a waste. It's not a waste, patient. Listen to me. Look, when I was a kid, when I was a little boy, I always wanted to be a dinosaur. I wanted to be a T-Rex more than anything in the world. I made my arms short, and I roamed the backyard, and I chased the neighborhood cats, and I growled and I roared. And everyone knew me and was afraid of me. And then one day, my dad said, "Ken, you're 17. It's time to throw childish things away." And I said, "Okay, Pop." But that's not really what he said. He said, "Stop being a fucking dinosaur and get a job." But
Yeah.
you know, I thought
Don't lose your
I'll
dinosaur.
I'll go to college, and I'll practice for a little while, and then I'll come back to it. But I forgot how to do it, and I lost it. So the point is, don't lose your dinosaur.
Yeah, I get the Step Brothers reference.
Exhaustion overcomes me every day that I persist. I know not if it is real or does in mind alone exist.
Alright, we should get to what
Patient.
we're doing or something, right?
You know how we do when we do what we do. And what we do right now is what we're doing. So we're doing what we're doing. So what have we been doing? Zero.
Alright, so, Pokemon, the Pokemon demo for
Oh
Sun
God,
and
here
Moon
we
just
go.
came out.
Oh.
I just want to say, they data mined it already.
Yes.
HMs are confirmed to be gone.
Good,
Wow.
but I don't care anymore. Fuck. This is a fire kitty. This is not a fire kitty. It's a stupid fucking wrestler. God damn it.
It's a Thundercat, and this will be named Lionel.
I will not believe leaks until they're officially confirmed.
It's real. It's a data mine from the demo. It's actually game code.
Yeah. It was also confirmed that there will be no gyms. That was
Nope.
official then.
No what?
There will be no gyms.
No gem.
Did you just... What?
Yeah,
Did you
there's no
say-
gyms.
No gems?
Yes.
Yeah, great. They're going to be, basing the entire game around the plot lines that are always so stellar.
There's going to be trials where you have to fight basically Pokemon bosses, and then you have to fight the Kahunas, which are actual Pokemon trainers. They're like gym leaders.
Okay. Hey, you remember when the plot line in in Black 2 was so great with the mystical ancient DNA splices?
Listen, that storyline was stupid because it wasn't made for you, and also because when you stop and make fun of the entire game as you're going through it, you're going to make fun of every bad thing about it, including...
But I can't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah. So
I mean,
replacing,
we already should talk that story enough.
Oh yeah.
replacing the HMs is the new Poke Ride mechanic, where you can just press press Y, and then you can select what it is, what type of Pokemon you want to ride, that you unlock them, and it basically functions like a bike. You can use it anywhere that's outside, and some Pokemon have like a dash option that makes you go really fast, and you can hold that button down to just kind of sprint through the world on top of a Tauros.
It would be cool if they did that, but they designed it based around the type of Pokemon that it is. So if you had, say, any fighting type, then it would be able to smash through rocks. If you had...
Well, a Tauros can smash through rocks because it's a frickin' Tauros.
Duh. If you had, like, anything with blades on it, it would be able to cut down trees. That sort of thing.
Well, we haven't seen all of it so far, so I don't know exactly what else they have planned in terms of that.
I think that'd be cool and not waste anyone's time with bullshit HM shit, so, you know.
Well, yeah, there's no HMs anyways, so it's fine. Which actually makes me really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, aside from... also there was a small interview where they said the Z moves they're implementing are meant to make every Pokemon viable by giving them a super powerful move.
Yeah, that's not how that works. You give every Pokemon a super powerful move, and some of those super powerful moves are going to be more super powerful than others.
And the word is far-fetched.
Or Snorlax's new Z move, Pulverizing Pancake. Yeah, his special signature Z move, where he wakes up, sprints, then runs and belly flops on you, and there's a big explosion.
Body slams. His special
very
move is a body slam.
But it's very cinematic and beautiful and powerful, and creates an explosion.
Kind of like the Pokemon move Body Slam.
But better.
Okay.
Anyways, the demo itself was a lot of fun. There's a lot of optimizations to the menus, the UI. I won't go too into detail, but basically it looks like it'll just be a very fun, solid game from what I've seen of it so far, and from what I've played of it.
A Fire Kitty. That's all I wanted. And
you got a Thundercat, so don't be disappointed.
Casey, may I recommend Everstone?
Yeah, that's... If I was going to get the game, I would absolutely do an Everstone. I have gone on record many, many times that if you have a Pokemon and it can evolve, you should evolve that Pokemon. This is the first time ever I have gone back on that stance.
What about Dragonair and Dragonite? Those two have different advantages.
I'd still always go with the Dragonite. What are the advantages of a Dragonair?
Shed skin, for one.
That doesn't hold over to Dragonite?
No, Dragonite gains the inner focus ability, preventing it from flinching.
That's also a pretty good one, actually, in like high-level play, so I might actually just go with the Dragonite, to be honest.
Well, what about the appearance?
Moving past that, because I don't want to have us go on Pokemon rants for about 30, 40 minutes.
Again.
Real quick,
yeah,
because I also saw all the data mine stuff, and Persian is fantastic.
Yeah,
the Alola version of Persian is basically just a slightly blue-tinged Garfield, and it's...
You're kidding me.
It's great. I love it. You already have the regular cool Persian. Take this Garfield.
Yeah. If I can't have a Fire Kitty, I'm gonna have a regular kitty. I'm okay with that. I'm down for Garfield.
For the love of...
Enjoy where you can. Anyway, sorry, Zero. I had to bring that up.
Yeah. Moving on, I went to go see Shin Godzilla with my friend at this movie theater, and we were all super hyped for it, me and him, because I'm kind of more of a casual Godzilla fan. I haven't seen all the Japanese movies. I've seen like a few of them, and I've seen pretty much all the American ones, but I'm not too in there. But we went in, and this was a remake of, I believe, the 54 Godzilla or a reboot type thing.
I think it's something. I've heard about this in bits, and it's something like that, I believe.
And it starts out with, oh look, there's something in the water, like some sort of volcanic geyser or something. There's lots of heat coming. It's collapsing underground tunnels. And they're all trying to figure out what's going on. And there's a bit of humor with the dialogue that it was very entertaining. And then Godzilla appears. And Godzilla in this movie has multiple forms. And his first form is like they made an incredible CG version of a costume that you would put your dog/snake in, because that's kind of what it is. It has a really long neck, but like a fat body, and it has these big googly eyes. And I mean, like, big googly eyes. They don't blink.
Okay, in fairness, the original Godzilla films were kind of fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
And the remake in 1997, I want to say, with Broderick and whomever else, tried to make it cool and badass and failed. So I'm kind of okay with them doing the cheesy shit again.
So we're like, okay, Godzilla's about to transform. He's going to reach his second form. And then the screen goes black.
And its power level was clocked at 1 million.
And we had a power outage in the theater.
Oh god, really?
Yes. And they tried to get it fixed for about 40 minutes.
So its second form was to just destroy the movie theater, basically?
Yes.
That's funny.
So
I told you, it clocked at 1 million. It's a powerful fucking thing.
we would sometimes hear audio. Sometimes the picture would come back, but the audio would be muted. But we never got to see the second form of Godzilla.
It broke the fourth wall.
Until finally they just were like, okay, here's a free voucher to come back later. And this was a movie grill. So they served us food, but me and my friend were going to split the bill. So they said, oh, just give us your cards later. And they weren't going to give us refunds for the food. So we're like, well, we didn't pay for it anyways, so we just walked out.
Fair. I mean, the theater fucked up, so fair.
Yeah, we kind of... that was not a happy day or a happy ride back home. We were really mad about that. Luckily, Godzilla has been extended to... Shin Godzilla has been extended to stay in theaters until the 27th. It was originally only going to be from, like, the 11th to the 18th.
Yay.
So I'm probably going to try to get back in there and see it one more time. Hopefully the second form doesn't break the movie.
God knows what the third form will do.
Aside from that, you may have noticed that there are now thumbnails on our Conception 2 videos. Because I made some.
I don't think any of our viewers noticed because no one actually watches our Let's Plays, but that's okay. It's cool.
I made it, and I put a little multicolored glowing baby on a star in the corner, reaching out towards God's gift, a.k.a. Casey.
Me.
That's your star child.
Me.
Casey's like, that baby don't look like me.
None of them do look like me, in fairness. They all look like the girls. It's a little weird. Except for the grapplers, which just, for some reason, have a rather dark skin tone, and we're not entirely sure why that is.
I mean, that's unfortunate that that's a thing that happened to your children. What a
we need to
mystery
get
this is.
Kenshi, you need to get in on this Let's Play.
I don't have any time.
Wait.
Like,
as a thought, the babies that come out with dark skin also have impressive martial arts talent.
Yeah, it's Kenshi. You didn't pick that up? I thought we all knew.
I'm not okay with this, Kenshi. Just want to put that on record.
I mean, what do you think? You can't keep an eye on all these women all the time?
He's true. He's telling the truth right there.
I done tricked you into raising my bastards.
Anyway, Zero, keep talking while I go into sadness spiral.
Yeah, my rewrite is progressing pretty well. I've been putting out a chapter a week so far, which is more regular than I've been doing chapters of anything in a long time, considering that my chapters used to be monthly. So it's actually progressing pretty quickly, and I'm happy with the direction it's going.
Yeah.
Aside from that, not much. I watched the first episode of Drifters, if that's anything. That is very Hellsing-ish in its style. Very bloody, very graphic, very cool. Go check that out.
Just remembered one other thing that I forgot to put in my stuff, my notes.
Oh, and one last thing. While I was going through talking with my new beta, because I now have, I picked up a second beta, and he's been very helpful. We discovered the Persona 3 club book had a world's guide thing of a QA of questions about the world. And it turns out that in Persona 3, killing Nyx is possibly the worst possible thing you could ever do. Because they've constructed their lore in a way that essentially Nyx caused humans to evolve, which caused them to create the collective unconscious to seal away Nyx, and thus killing Nyx would essentially collapse that, and people would stop being able to think, and everybody would have apathy syndrome.
That makes a certain amount of sense.
There's a much longer explanation of it. I'm just kind of trying to simplify it, but basically, if you kill Nyx, everybody just stops thinking, which is bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't be immediate. I mean, Nyx is basically death incarnate, more or less. So
Yeah.
It makes sense that if you kill death, then no one dies, which means there is no fear of death, there is no impetus to progress and do better things, and everyone just kind of slows down and stops. So it makes sense.
They had a very long explanation to it. I'll link it to you if you want. But I found that very interesting and discovered a few other things about the canon. This is a very obscure type of book, so I don't think most people even know about it.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to use anything from it, just gonna say that now. So
Yeah, but it's a Persona 3 thing, so going forward, I feel like I'm going to take some of this stuff into consideration.
some, not all.
Yeah, if I were to take all of it into consideration, I've already broken canon.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's it for my week.
Okay. I'll go last because I have a bunch of shit to talk about. So, Kenshi.
All right, I got this badass tattoo on my left shoulder. Great.
You sound so enthused.
I mean, how excited do you expect me to be? I don't get excited for things that... I mean, of course. What's there to be excited about? The tattoo. But it's on me.
Okay.
It's a hyena.
Do you want to
Rawr.
upload an image of it so I can link it for people? Because they wanted to know last week, and now I can actually...
I uploaded an image last week.
I think you only sent it here and didn't actually upload it online, which is what I need.
I mean...
It's pretty simple. Just take a picture of it and upload it on Imgur or something.
Damn it, fine. Making stuff so difficult. Fine, I'll do it later. I'm not doing it now. But
In it.
I'll do it later.
Okay.
Alright, so in addition to that, I got Battlefield 1. Man, that game is depressing.
Really? A game about World War One would be depressing. That's...
Like, yeah, but I didn't think they'd actually go full Monty with it and make it as depressing as it was. I'm actually impressed by how depressing that campaign is. Good God. Like, just as an example, the first mission, which is basically the tutorial, has you in multiple people dying.
No, that's great.
In hopeless situations, fighting for as long as you can until you die.
Oh, that's great.
It's so depressing. Like, one of them, like the first one, we just get our position overrun to the point where I can't fight back anymore. The second one, like, we're trying to, like, stay holed up in a bombed out church. Like, my machine gun gets blown up and I have to fight off these people in the church, and I get hit with a flamethrower and die.
Yeah.
And on the third one, I'm in a gas mask and I'm dying because my gas mask isn't secured.
Oh, I was literally going to ask you whether they did the Wilfred Owen thing. That is literally what that is. It's a poem by Wilfred Owen. He was a soldier in World War One who wrote Dulce Et Decorum Est, and it's all about him being the guy. They see a mustard bomb, shell rather, and it drops near them enough that they have to put on gas masks right the fuck now. And he sees one of the soldiers didn't get it on in time, and it's a very graphic account of how he dies. So they apparently play that note for note. I'm kind of happy about that because they did the fucking research.
If I may, if in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil's sick of sin, if you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling forth from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues, my friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, dulce et decorum est pro patria mori.
What a joyful passage.
Patient, you make me sad sometimes.
You make me so happy sometimes. Sorry, that was a really good reading. Thank you for that, Patient. I love that poem so much. Okay.
So yeah, I haven't played the multiplayer yet because I'm trying to get the mechanics of, like, you know, jumping back in time to fucking World War One. God. So I'm still getting used to that. But yeah, I've been through a few of the campaigns so far, but that one just, like, struck a chord. And when they died, you're like, you get their names and the year they were born and the year they died, 1918. It was super depressing.
Sorry,
yeah.
right. I should be moderate. I'm sorry. I was bouncing in my chair. It was really, really fun. Anyway, you were saying, Kenji, anything else? Cool stuff?
Let me see. Oh yeah, that wrestling thing I linked last week. I watched all 4 DVDs of it, and that was like 9 hours straight of wrestling. God, I'm tired after that. But it was so good.
Okay.
I'll never be in that promotion. Never be in that promotion. Damn it. God, I wish I was that good. And now I'm sad, and I'm even sadder. Thanks, Patient, for sending me on a downward spiral.
Hey, Zero sent me on one. I think we're fucking whatever. But then Patient brought me back up, so it's all good. It's all good. I'm good.
Really, well, in the process of bringing you up, he stole my good mood.
You didn't have a good mood. I had to tell you to get hype earlier.
And I did. Ass.
Dude,
You know what? Screw this. My week is done.
Okay.
Proceed.
It wouldn't have happened if you hadn't decided to play a war game.
Well, shouldn't have made the war game so damn good then.
I might actually have to play Battlefield 1 now.
A poor craftsman blames his tools. Honestly, there's so much ease in blaming others when, honestly, it's ultimately your agency that led you to it.
Yeah, it is easy to blame other people. That's why I do it. I'm never wrong. I'm Kenshi.
It's true.
Okay.
And for example, Shinobi of the High Seas.
That's pretty good. The
I'm
shitty
not
one was
saying that,
fucking...
but he dislikes it.
The shitty one was Full Metal Shinobi or whatever it was.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
I hate that story. I hate it more than anything else.
Because it's proof that you were wrong.
No, it was what kind of got me famous in the first place, or at least got me attention. But I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's terrible.
No,
It's
it wasn't.
awful.
That was Seal Kunai, wasn't it?
No, I got most of the fans from that came over from,
Yeah, and then
Well,
Seal
no,
Kunai
Shinobi.
was what really
and then
sold
that
him.
blew up. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun
But
fact,
anyway, yeah.
audience, Kenshi basically invented the Danzo story, or made it way better than it used to be.
I'm waving. I forgot we aren't on camera, so never
Yeah.
mind. Patient.
Yeah. Sorry.
Alright. Well, just another week at college. Just another few days of classes going in and out. Though, a few notable things.
Mhm.
The Crossbrain published Chapter 41 of this fight. We were planning on making it a 40k plus word chapter, but I suggested that we cut it in half and publish part of it now, and so we did. And now we're working on the other half of the conclusion of the Enies Lobby arc.
Yeah. Worth
After
noting,
that, we'll
you did
probably-
actually get to the 40,000 word target, but it was getting a bit long in the tooth. So you just decided to split it instead rather than having it...
Something like that. Though based on the fans' reactions, we're probably going to do a 40-50k chapter with the post-Enies Lobby arc. We've got a lot to cover in that. A lot of rams coming up.
That makes sense. If you're going to do long chapters like that, then having the wrap-up be all in one makes a lot of sense.
Alright. Besides that, I've also been invited to be a co-author for another big One Piece story. I recommended it during the interview we had, Second Wind by the Lost Samurai. Yeah, as of the most recent chapter, it's become the Peggy Sue story with the most progression in canon out of all of them. It finally broke the record set by the Victor 3 years ago. It's less than 10 favorites away from overtaking once again as the third most popular One Piece story. I've been serving as a beta reader for The Lost Samurai for quite a while, but inspiration was becoming a bit lacking, so he invited me on board. I accepted. I'm not nearly as involved with him as I am with the Crossbrain, but I did write a good portion of the most recent chapter released. So, that's something.
Fair play.
Besides that, no, that's about all of the notable stuff that I can bring up presently.
Okay. Well, I can bring something up that you've been doing. As Patience, I think he mentioned it on episode last week, that he would do the anime lists for us so that we don't have to waste so much time picking new ones every week. And he's made some pretty good headway. Most notably, he's done, I think it was numbers through F, something like that. And also did the letter P, which means P is now back on the table. Everyone gets P on the table. That's great.
Did you have to? Did he really have to?
It came to me halfway through saying it, so I had to. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so basically, we can actually use anime starting with P now, basically. So that's nice, because there's probably some good shows in there that we were missing because Pokemon ruins everything. Yeah, so not bad for a week, because that's a hell of a lot of stuff to get through in that time. I guess it's my turn. So, health issues, yay, we're going to do that again. Doctor's appointment today, so went to the doctor so that I could get blood pressure checked again, which is fine, apparently, and have an ECG done, which, if people aren't familiar, that's the one where they put the little stickies on the wrists and the ankles and on your chest, so it can monitor electrical signals from the heart or something like that. So apparently they were supposed to ring me if there was a problem, and they haven't rang me, so I assume there isn't a problem. That's pretty much all I can say about that for the time being. Apparently I was supposed to get a blood test, but you don't do that at the GP's office. You have to do that at a blood clinic or something like that. So that would have been nice to know, but you know, my doctor's a moron, so that's okay. That's fine. Problem solved. Anyway, boring crap out of the way.
Yes, he did. Maybe he just never wanted to be a doctor anyway. He wanted to be a lumberjack, leaping from...
I think at this point he just no longer wants to be a doctor after being one for like 60 years or something. He's an old man. Yeah, so... Why is second wind up there? I don't understand. That makes no sense. You were talking about second wind and then I typed it up there for some reason. Okay, what I meant to type up there, now that I remember, is I've been writing The Whitest Man in Skyrim again.
Yeah.
Self-insert fic in Skyrim. And,
Very good, very good, very good.
Okay.
That was supposed to be twice, but my voice is messing up. I don't know what's causing it.
Yeah. So I meant to talk about this last week, but I forgot and didn't remember anything I had to actually talk about last week. So I made notes this week, so it's all down. So yeah, that's been fun to write recently. And basically inspired one of the topics that we're going to talk about later, hopefully. I'm generally reticent about writing fight scenes because I'm bad at them. But I think the most recent one really came out well. It's fighting a giant spider. And
Yeah, I like that.
I freaked out pretty bad just writing it. Like, there's a moment where it's like, you can see the thing is giant and it's like 60 feet in the air. And if I can still see it when it's 60 feet in the air, that's a fucking problem. So I freaked out when I was just writing that, so I knew if I was actually fighting the thing, I would be freaking the fuck out the entire time. So that's basically where that fight scene went throughout the entire thing. It was pretty fun to write. I love when I can have a lot of fun with just writing a scene. It's great. It's wonderful. Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but it's escaped me. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, naturally, the metal cover of Spider Dance from the Undertale soundtrack started playing as soon as I started writing that. That was Yep, that started playing, and I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it being decent for once. Yeah, so that's pretty much that.
Music really does help draw out creativity.
It does, as long as it's appropriate, and usually as long as it doesn't have lyrics, because that kind of gets in the way and distracts you.
Sometimes words really are able to help me focus where I'm going in my direction.
It
If they fit.
depends on the person, but I tend to find that lyrics are distracting for
Yeah.
me.
That's all personal preference.
Yeah. Other thing that I didn't talk about last week that I should have talked about last week, like I said, there was a lot of that. I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was going to catch up on the DC TV shows.
Yeah?
I did that.
How'd that go?
It went pretty good. Flash is still okay. It's not spectacular, but it's okay. It's good.
How about
Arrow,
that Gotham?
I didn't watch Gotham because that doesn't count. Arrow, like I said, I stopped watching around the 2/3 point of season 4 because all the characters were as annoying as hell.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I stopped being invested in Felicity's character, I just got to laugh every time she was an absolute bitch. Just every single time, and it was hilarious. So, that actually turned into something fun. So,
Oh, speaking of TV shows, have you guys seen Westworld?
No.
Because I
No.
recently started up getting an HBO show where basically it's based off the movie Westworld, where there's like a theme park with all these animatronic people who are super advanced.
Yep. I think you've talked about this before, like 2 weeks ago.
No, I just saw the first episode recently.
Someone talked about it. I don't know. Yeah, people like that show. I haven't seen it, so we can't really talk about it much. But people really seem to like it, so that's nice. Back to what I was actually talking about. Not that I'm, shirty about it or anything. Yeah, so surprisingly enough, the writing for those shows has kind of been on point for the DC shows. In everything except romantic relationships, but they're always terrible at that. So I'm kind of surprised at how good they've gotten after how terrible they had been. I also finished watching the Legends of Tomorrow one, which is all the characters that you don't care about being in an ensemble and traveling through time.
Yeah, that one has always just slipped right underneath me.
It got surprisingly good in the second half of the season.
Really?
Yeah. Like, to start with, it was a little bit, scenario of the week. What time period are we going to be in this week kind of thing. They moved away from that and actually had ongoing conflicts in the second half of the season, and it did wonders for the show. It was so much better. And then they killed my favorite character.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
Yeah.
And then my character's dead and everything sucks.
Yeah, they got rid of my favorite character, but they also got rid of two of my least favorite characters, so it's a kind of a trade-off, so I'm ambivalent as season 2 starts. So, that's okay, I'll see where it goes.
Equivalent exchange.
Sure. A good thing goes away, a bad thing goes away, it all gets more into the middle. It's like plain white bread, and
It
terrible
still sucks.
It's terrible in a new way, but, like I say, I'll see where it
plain
goes.
white bread. It tastes good.
You're plain white bread. I'm sorry.
I am, and that's why I'm able to eat it normally and feel good about myself.
Cannibal.
Because I am white, and I am a cannibal.
I like wholemeal.
We're
We're just talking about bread now? Is that what this is? Okay, so yeah, those shows, I'm watching all of them now at this point, so, I'll see where that goes, and I won't talk about it for like a month at least, because I tend to...
Sure.
These are shows that I enjoy or hate in equal measure, so, they tend to come up a lot. Sorry. Watched Luke Cage, or rather I watched... Bear with me, I've still got the Netflix thing up. But it won't let me show what episode I'm on. I think I'm on episode 10.
Yeah, I've not been able to go forward with my dad on watching that. I'm still at episode 5.
You guys suck.
Hey, I literally started watching last night, and I'm already at episode 10, okay? I've been binging this shit. It's good, though. It's really good. I'm really liking it. It is a little bit preachy at times, but it feels like it's preachiness where preachiness is kind of required. Some anvils need to be dropped kind of thing. It works. And it's really good. So... yeah, I've been having fun with that. I won't talk about it because it's a Netflix show, and since those all come out in one go, I feel like spoiling it should wait longer than 2 weeks. So I'll hold off on that. I mean, Zero hasn't even finished watching it yet.
I love that Turk is just like the recurring character in every damn show.
And he's a piece of shit and kind of worthless in all of them, yeah.
But he's so awesome about it. It's great.
Yeah, this guy throws a guy off a building, and he's just like, so, can I get my money now? No? Oh, okay. See you
going back to Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. Shit's normal, and there's a blind superhero. Anyway, yeah, that's a good show. People should absolutely watching it. It's, yeah. At this point, I'd rank it Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Myself, but that's just me. Next on my list of things that I wanted to talk about because I forgot last time. RWBY Season 4 is starting this week. In fact, by the time this episode comes out, the first episode of Season 4 might actually be out because it's Saturday. Funny thing, over the past week, they've been basically giving the exposition that fanfic writers have been asking for years. They're basically outlining what all of the cities and locales are and the topography of the maps and all of this shit, so you can actually describe the environments. It's what people have kind of been waiting for since episode 1, and they've finally gotten around to doing it, so that's kind of nice. Unfortunately, the one RWBY fic that I had actually written started in a country called Atlas, and they released the episode on Atlas today, and it basically contradicts every detail I used.
I hate when that happens. And wreaks merry hell on the beautiful fan fiction.
Yeah. It's not great. So basically I had set it up as, it's a kingdom, it's got walls surrounding it, and there are farms there. That's basically... and there's a lot of mining. That's basically all of the details I had in that setting. And it turns out it's an icy fortress. And that's basically all there is to it.
Well, that's about as far off as you can get.
Yeah, so, I'm not rewriting it. Because fuck you, I'm not rewriting the entire story because the premise was based around there being farmland there. So... but
just change the name of the country.
Okay, inside baseball time. I hate doing this, but the main thrust of the main character is he is a Faunus. It's a Naruto crossover. Naruto is a Faunus. Faunus are basically cross between black people in, say, the 1950s and 60s, maybe 70s, and Australians, or rather the criminals deported to Australia. It's basically a combination of those two peoples.
Not in appearance, by the way. Let's just make this entirely clear.
Not in appearance, no. In attitude of the culture around them. So the most oppressive of the nations in the setting is Atlas. And there's a lot of details about that are important and how that works. So it needed to be set in Atlas, basically. And I had also based the Naruto character on the Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is Roald Dahl story. It's
I'm quite a fan of Roald Dahl myself.
yeah.
I never read that book. I only saw the movie adaptation, which
It wasn't one of the better ones.
it
But
was good. No. It wasn't bad until it went beyond the point where the book went.
yeah, like I say, it wasn't one of the better books, but it fit the purpose because the main character's a fox, and that's a nice synergy that you can do for the Naruto thing. And the entire plot of that is that the fox steals from farms. He steals crops and animals and shit. So that's what I based it around. It was in Atlas, where foreigners are treated like shit, so they have to steal. So the main character, Naruto, steals crops. And then he gets caught, and shit goes down, basically. And I either have to rewrite all of that from scratch, and that's basically most of the story from scratch,
You can do it.
or ignore the shit out of it and just keep going and handwave it with some, I don't know, they have super technology so they can make farmland in a frozen tundra kind of shit. I don't.
You did it with like one month of summer. There was 1 month of summer, and that was it. And now it's winter forever.
The question you need to ask yourself, Casey, which would be the easier thing to go for? I mean, if you ignore it and go with what you've got, you'll need to keep coming up with more rationalization for why it's different from canon. Whereas if you retcon it and change it so that it associates with canon, you have to revise your plot line, but you won't be contradicting canon anymore. So which of the two is the better option?
Well, the amount of effort I put into setting up that plotline and make it actually synergistic with how the characters are portrayed in the setting, based on storybooks, I put a lot of fucking effort into that, so I don't want to redo it, thank you. So that's basically my option. I'm just not going to. I'm going to handwave what I can handwave. I'll change what I need to change, but I'm not going to change everything.
If worse comes to worse, you can just call it an AU story.
That works too, I guess. So that was frustrating. Mob Psycho 100. I watched an episode of that. I don't like it.
Watch more.
That's your answer to everything, Zero?
I will say the first episode is not representative of the whole series.
There is that classic saying, don't judge a book by its cover.
I'm not judging it
And
by
you
the cover,
know,
I'm judging it by the first episode.
Well, you do know that things do often take a while to get good. I mean, This Bites, for one...
That's not fair, using your own example.
One Piece and Zen.
That's cheating.
Well, you're the one who said it first. I mean, I liked This Bites from the start. I didn't have any problem with the plotline at first.
Using my own words against me, that's cheating too. Everything's cheating that proves me wrong.
Guys, holy shit, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunters.
Yeah! I love that movie.
It's good for Americans. Also,
No,
I wasn't going to watch that anyway, even if it was in this country.
Mob Psycho 100, the first episode is very different from the rest of the series in terms of tone. It's kind of like, this is the basic, there are these two characters, this is basically this character, this is basically that character, and every episode after that starts to delve deeper and deeper into Mob's character.
I was going to ask two questions. One, does the shithead go away?
Reagan?
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot better of a character than you think.
Mm-hmm. And two,
you will hate him in episode 1. What?
Does Mob stop being a nothing of a character?
Yes.
I might give it another shot.
Reagan is a character that everybody hates in episode 1, but starts to like, or will like, usually by episode 12.
Mm-hmm.
Mob
by episode
is...
12, you say?
No, I mean by the end of the series. Come on. I mean over the course of the series. You know what I mean. And Mob is a character who appears to be very stilted, and that's intentional, and it's going to be delving into a lot of who he is, what his goals are, and what he represents. So I would say give it a try. It is one of the best written series of the season it was in.
Okay. Finally on my list, like I say, again, there were a lot of things I forgot last week. Kingdom Hearts 2. I basically forced myself to keep playing it because I wanted to catch up on the Team 4-Star playthrough.
Oh yeah, they finished that recently.
No, they didn't.
Wait, which playthrough? Sorry, Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh, they finished Kingdom Hearts 1 or something, I think.
They finished Chain of Memories recently.
Chain of Memories. That was one I was thinking of.
Yeah. So, I finally got past Hollow Bastion, the bit where you go there first time. And they really do not start that game off on the best foot, do they? Because it's Traverse Town, which is plot exposition that doesn't exposit anything, it doesn't explain anything. Then you have Hollow Bastion, which is a nothing of a location where nothing happens except you meet characters from the first game that have terrible to mediocre voice acting and don't actually contribute much.
Yeah.
And then you have Mulan.
Yeah.
That was a nothing of a world, wasn't it?
I will say that Shan Yu was disappointing as a boss.
I think everything about that was disappointing as a world. It was just a nothing retelling of the film.
I will say I thought it was fun to be at the part where it's the snow battle where they're all like lined up like there and you're fighting just tons and tons of Heartless.
We have to defeat the army of the Heartless, not the Huns. They're the Heartless.
Yeah, but you have to, because if you fight the Huns, then your Keyblade won't work on them, dummy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know what I'm defending.
The Mulan one contributed absolutely nothing, and
no, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Beauty and the Beast one was good.
Yeah,
I like that one. That was a good one.
That has significantly more interesting ideas behind it.
More interesting ideas, and actually contribute something to the main plot because one of the organization are there. Yeah. So that was cool. I like that.
You're not gonna like it when you actually have to fight Zaldin. He's one of the more difficult bosses.
I like his voice actor.
Oh yes.
He has a good voice. He does have a good voice. After that was the games, where you go to
Olympus Coliseum.
And that one was weird. It did not go in a direction I was expecting. It was okay, I guess. It was annoying because the whole you can't fight Hades, but you'll still lock onto him because they needed that to be more annoying, apparently.
That was annoying, yes.
Yeah, that was not great, but you know, boss fight was fun against the Cerberus. Not so much the Hydra, but it was cool.
Get up on the Hydra's back.
Yeah. I heard that a lot of times before I realized, oh, I should probably get up on the Hydra's back. Yeah. Yeah. Not my brightest moment.
I love his laughing. It's so genuine.
Yeah, okay. Let's laugh less at me, please. I'm God's gift, don't you know? You're not supposed to laugh at me.
But laughter is a gift.
Yeah, I guess. It's my gift to everybody. Then there was the castle and the Timeless River, and Yeah, they really did front load with the shit and then just kind of give you all the stuff, the good stuff for sticking around, apparently. Because that was cool.
I just hate that you had so little to do in Disney Castle. A location like that.
Yeah. It's basically just a gateway to the Timeless River, and in fairness, the Timeless River was really good. It was so good. I love it when they let the character models change based on the setting. They don't do it often enough, so I really appreciate that.
There are only 5-6 worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2 where they do it. Let's see, there's one there. There's Timeless River. There's
we don't really need to list them. So
yeah, there's 5 of them.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to list them anyway because it's something of a spoiler for you.
that's true.
Though
they only
one of
do
the
it...
worlds that's returning.
Go ahead.
If you've beaten Timeless River, then you've seen the worlds that are up next, right?
Yeah, it's Pirates, and I don't think I recognize the other one, to be honest.
It was Atlantica.
Oh, okay. Great.
And I'm not sure how you'll feel about what they did with that game. There were a lot of complaints about swimming controls in the previous games, so they went in an entirely different direction, I'll just say that.
Okay. I mean, the first game wasn't great, but I've wrestled with enough bad swimming controls that it was okay for me. Also, I was about to say, Atlantica in the first game, one of the only worlds where they actually do that and have you disguise yourself as a certain, like, your costume fits. And yet it's the only world where you get called out as being an outsider.
To be fair, it's the only world with someone as old and all-knowing as King Triton on your side, maybe?
I guess, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, Wonderland and Olympus Coliseum get all sorts of strange visitors.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so yeah, that's as far as I've gotten in Kingdom Hearts 2, and that's... Yeah, I won't talk so long about it next time.
Oh,
right.
Feel free. I like talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
Plus,
okay, I'll try and not talk as long in general next time.
Oh no, don't say that. I mean, after all, I've just about finished G now.
Yay. So, speaking of G, Random A. Oh god, I forgot. Yeah, okay, Random A was, Rockley...
And his ninja pals!
Sure, okay, let's call it that. I forget what the actual name is. I don't think it's actually Springtime of
It's
Youth.
Naruto's side story, Rockley and his ninja pals.
Ah, right, okay. Rockley anime. There we go. Okay, so this was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It's hilarious.
The crow joke got old really quickly, but, you know, that's okay.
It's the joke of the episode.
You mean, aho, aho. By the way, that basically, it means idiot, but it's more impolite than saying baka. So.
And in every transition, the crows are just saying that.
Every single time. Like I say, the joke got old, but it was funny, and Rockley is a more endearing protagonist than Naruto is.
Yeah, he is, because he has no ninjutsu. So he has to work super hard.
Okay, so the way the show works is it's more like a cartoon than any of the other anime we've seen. It's basically 10-minute half episodes, and 2 of them make up an episode. Kind of like, I think Adventure Time does that.
Adventure Time just does like 15-minute episodes, but
yeah,
like 10 minutes.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, it's a bit more like cartoons. I'll say used to be then, because they don't do that as much anymore. And I really liked it. I don't know why, because I hate Naruto so much, but something about the show really clicked with me.
Well, the characters have like a lot of like Neji just being forced to dress up as a schoolgirl.
Oh god.
Nejiko.
That whole skit was fantastic.
Like there's an element of ridiculousness to it that is.
It's a little creepy when you realize that Guy was the husband and...
Yeah, but at the same time, he would be.
Yeah, I guess, but that puts a spin on the relationship that I'm sure a lot of fanfics have gone into, but I was not prepared for.
It's all for comedy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, Rock Lee is a very earnest, endearing character. And his particular squad has a very fun team dynamic.
Yeah. Rock Lee does the weird shit. Neji kind of goes along with it, and Tenten is the straight man. Woman.
Yeah. Neji's like, what's going on? Why am I wearing a dress now? Why? Why is Rock Lee now wearing a bikini and running around in circles?
Oh god, there's so many things about the show that I don't want to remember, but they still make me laugh. Kenshi, you're a resident Naruto expert. Tell us about Rock Lee.
I didn't tell you about Rock Lee. I mean, the reason you enjoyed it is because it's completely detached from any of the actual story whatsoever. You don't have to like melt your brain trying to think about. It didn't matter. None of it mattered. They gave you the presentation was down and dirty. Getting into some old dumb shit. Enjoy.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. That was good because when they try complicated, they make plot holes in plot holes. So that was much better. Like I say, it was fun.
I like Naruto as the rival character.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
Seems effective.
And I like how he went out on a kind of condescending note, and Lee kind of got that. That was actually surprisingly good character development. Well, depth, let's call it that, because they're not going to develop shit because it's a comedy show. But it was good depth for that, and fair play. Patient, did you watch this week? I don't know.
You know, this is the first time for a couple of weeks that you've actually asked me if I've watched it. No, I didn't actually.
Oh,
I was a bit occupied with the other aspect of Random A.
Oh, that's a shame. Because I really would have liked to get your perspective on this, because I think you said you're kind of a Naruto neophyte. You haven't actually watched any of it.
I've watched the first episode recently, that's about it. I remember a few bits and pieces from further down the line. Gara manipulating sand, something about mirrors. But that's about all I've got from it.
Mirrors?
Well, also, when you change the protagonist, you have Naruto, who has tremendous power inside him and has this whole, QB and everything, and he's disliked, but he's the protagonist. Then you have Rock Lee, who just can't use ninjutsu, but he sticks to being a ninja, even though he can't, even though he gets looked down at that because of that.
Zero, is Rock Lee your spirit animal?
Yes, he is. Youth.
Okay.
Alright, so...
I like Rock Lee. He's like one of my favorite characters. So you can bet it. I saw this when it first came out. Well, the first couple episodes at least. Then I got busy with other things.
Okay, so that's Rock Lee. We liked it, basically, is the verdict. It's good. So, Kenchwa, would you like to roll for 27 now?
Sure. All right.
If it's 1 through 8 or
17.
17, yes, then we can use my simplified list.
Okay.
All right.
It's
All right.
12.
Yeah.
All right. You roll it up. So 12 would be, let's see, 10, 11, 12. K.
Count it up. Count it up.
Okay, bear with me.
Count it up.
See, this is what we're trying to get rid of.
Count it up. Count it up.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
What will we get? That's the question today.
I don't know. What letter is this? I don't even know.
K.
Maybe you'll get Kenshi 618 in his mouth adventures.
66 is 132, 133, so it's 133 plus 136.
269.
Thank you. Oh god, there's 206. There's no way this is going to be in the beginning of the end. Okay. 269, Ken.
Maybe I'll get lucky.
Alright,
He's
here we
laughing
go.
because he's not going to get lucky.
51.
That's not so bad. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay.
What do we get today? We can't veto it. As a reminder. Nobody in this current
Okay.
podcast has a veto left.
Except for Guy.
I don't know whether this is a film.
Well,
No,
he says
it's not a
current.
film.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
Kamisama Minarai Himitsu no Cocotama.
Yeah, because I
That
totally
sounds
know what
fun.
that means. Because I totally know what that means. man.
Translation, Cocotama Secret Apprentice Gods.
Yeah. Cocotama are tiny gods born from the thoughts and feelings of objects that people use with great care. So basically it's the gods in objects philosophy thing Japan likes. The fact that Cocotama wear part of the egg they hatch out of as underwear is proof that they are still apprentices. The Cocotama use a mysterious magic, and they train hard to be of use to humans and to become full gods. They live inside human houses and stealthily move around to help humans find things they have lost, although they make many mistakes. So basically they're Japanese borrowers is what they are.
Son of a bitch. Why'd I have to watch this? I don't want to watch this.
I don't have to watch this, so I'm fine with it.
It could
Yes, you
be
do.
so much worse.
No, I don't. I don't have to watch it at all. You can't
Your
make me.
definition of patient, your definition of worse, and my definition of worse are two completely different things.
Kenshi,
Yeah.
Chubra.
Oh man, look at this! This is just a fantastic art style with little Furbies you have here. Look at these little Furbies.
Kenshi,
Yes.
anytime anything bad ever comes up again, I'm just going to say Chubra, and we're just going to let it slide. Let it slide.
Why?
Because that's the
So-
one where a middle school girl was wearing fancy knickers, and that was the main thrust of the show.
Oh yeah. We didn't watch that.
No, we didn't. Thank you, Patient, again. I feel like I should thank him every time I bring it up as well. Thank you, Patient.
Believe me, it's my
You
pleasure.
think there's nothing worse than that in this thing? You gotta be
I
kidding
didn't
me.
say that.
There's things worse, but we haven't found them yet. We have not found them yet.
Speak for yourself. I'm the one
Apparently,
cataloging
like
all of
half
that.
of these episodes of this Cocotama thing aren't actually subbed. But the first episode is subbed, so you guys have to watch it.
Define half. I mean, it looks like only the last dozen or so out of 50.
Yeah, I was just reading the comment before I checked it. So, yeah, it looks like the last 14 aren't subbed. So, you know, I feel like you guys should watch the first episode as it is subbed.
I don't wanna.
God, I love comment sections.
Also, you watch it and write a freaking essay about it.
No, thank you.
Quote, "This shit is gay. Get triggered." End quote. Thanks, comment sections.
Let's look at the first minute of episode 1.
Did you see that? I don't see that in the comments. see it at all.
It's the third one down for me. Posted 2 months ago by, I can't read his name because it's in dark
Rage
green.
for Real.
That's the one. Thank you.
Well, I don't see it, so...
This is a very cheery opening song. I'm sure you guys will love this.
So, I know it won't change anything, Patient doing the whole proper list thing, but, you know, I hope it does somehow, miraculously. Like, somehow Patient's magic powers are going to make these shows go away. It's not going to happen, but I can pretend.
It won't, because they're still a random number generator.
Yep.
Nintendo.
Hmm?
Nintendo. Do you know what that translates to?
No?
I don't understand.
Literally translated, it means...
No, that was my translation. It means I don't understand.
No.
Oh wait, that's no entiendo. Sorry. It was a bad joke, I apologize.
This is a pretty catchy theme song to this Cocotama thing.
As I was saying,
Go ahead.
it means leave luck to happen.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense as Nintendo's, you know, motto. Throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Makes sense to me.
Something along those lines. I'm just thinking whatever happens will be for the best.
Sure it will. And when Chubra comes up next on the random number generator, you just hold on to that thought.
I assure you that I will.
You act like Chubra is the worst possible thing you guys could get.
Yeah, they keep saying like that's the worst. I know it was bad, but it's not the worst.
You keep saying that I keep saying it's the worst. Don't put words in my mouth.
I do not want
He's
to see
the
a
one saying.
12-year-old girl's fancy knickers, thank you.
You know what? In Japan, it can always be worse.
You're right, it could be like a 10-year-old girl's fancy knickers. In Japan.
You're No. Not saying anything. Shall we move on?
Yeah, you don't get to say
There's
anything
a
because
warning.
as soon as I said fancy knickers, you basically just said veto immediately. So you don't get to say anything either.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
There's
sir?
a warning in the first minute of this Cocotama thing that says when watching anime, please do so in a well-lit room and from a safe distance. This is what you guys are watching.
Well, right now you're watching.
I've stopped there. I'm not watching any further than that. I just saw the opening song in the first 2 seconds.
Shouldn't they have put that before the opening song? I'm pretty sure it was more colorful than like the first 5 minutes.
You know what? You're not wrong, but that's how they did it.
Yeah, in case you didn't get a seizure from the... Beware. You might get it.
You gotta go right up in front for the opening until they tell you to back off, kid.
Okay. So that's the show we have to watch this week. Congratulations, everyone.
Yay!
Except for Zero, who can go fuck himself. Alright.
Yeah, I can.
So,
Moving on.
yeah. It's an hour and 20 roundabout, so we can keep going. So the topic for this week, I don't know whether we're going to have time for a second one, but
Really, how far are we into the podcast?
about an hour and 20.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
So, first topic is tediousness. So, what we mean by this, Patient brought it up specifically because he's been doing a very, very boring task, which is sorting through the anime list. And we figured, yeah, this could be a topic for like when you're doing something really boring but needs to actually be done. Can be applied to writing when you are writing something that you find incredibly boring and you feel like it doesn't need to be said, but you know it does need to be said, so the audience is on the same page as you are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So basically, how might you keep your motivation up for writing something that you really just don't want to write? You just want to move on to things that are cool and interesting to write about?
One thing I found is that if you can convey the information that you want in a more interesting way, that tends to keep the motivation up. For example, having it happen through a conversation and adding in, reactions from and whatnot from two different characters, rather than just having a large dump of, okay, this is what happened, this is what's happening, and this is what you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, just having it in a conversation, having a character do the info dump, not always better than just doing the info dump.
But like you can do lots of things to say, this is how this character feels about this information they're conveying. This is how these characters feel about the information they're receiving. Maybe they add in other bits of stuff about their own character and how that information might relate to them that will make it more interesting.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. A lot of the problems with this sort of thing and trying to convey information that you find boring is you might get stuck in a rut of how you deal with that. So, like Zero says, doing it in a conversation, you might notice you just do it in a conversation every time, and a conversation just means exposition for the readers. It can happen. It's not great, so if you're going to do that sort of thing and try and do interesting things with it, do interesting things with it. Do different things with it. So you could have it happen in a conversation, or you could have something happen and it leads a character to realize something that you needed to convey to the audience. Sort of.
Yeah.
Just keep it interesting and keep it varied and interesting. Both are important things, because if you just repeat your methods over and over again, then not only is it boring for you to convey it, it is boring for the audience to understand it.
And it also depends on how exactly you're trying to bring this information, like tonally, like rather than having this is the information you need to convey, but having, instead of being conveyed through a character's voice and having it in their own words, tends to make it more interesting, especially if they throw in particular phrases that they would add in regards to whatever information they're conveying. If you're in a first-person point of view and they're realizing something, then you can really play with that using the character's voice.
Yeah. So
Kenshi, anything to say?
Yeah.
I mean, not really, because if it comes to that sort of thing, like, I don't get bored writing out that sort of thing.
No?
Yeah. Like, if something I feel needs to be written out and explained so that everyone... I feel like it's just... I don't get bored.
It's kind of a similar type thing for me, where the only thing I really tend to get bored with is just repeating canon, in which case my choice is to change the way the information is conveyed in canon, or the way this scene is done in canon.
Yeah,
to make
because
it more interesting for me.
Because if it's canon, I don't really have to explain it that much in the first place. But if it's not, and it's something I'm doing that's mine, well, it's mine. It's new. I'm excited to share it with the world. So
that's fair. I mean, I imagine there are examples where you probably do need to explain things to the audience as well, even if they are canon, like for a crossover in particular, because you're going to have people in your audience that have seen one but not the other, and vice versa. So
if it's something like this character has these powers that run by this different rule, I would say have them show their powers first and then explain what they are as they become pertinent.
Patient, any ideas on writing the boring shit?
Well, I suppose that's the way Some people do it. It's a form It's a form of writing that I've found rather useful for application in all aspects of life. Referred to as structured procrastination. It's basically working your way up from the less boring and tedious stuff up to the top. Alternatively, maybe just writing down a little bit at a time, one sentence at a time, so that you can go back to the enjoyable stuff, come back to it later, so that basically you finish with the fun and the tedious at the same time. Something along those lines. Of course, I'm not as good of a writer as some of us here, so...
So sort of a segmented writing approach. So you write the cool stuff, and then you write the boring stuff to get to the cool stuff. And then you write a bit more of the cool stuff, and then you write a bit more of the boring stuff. Kind of thing.
Essentially something like that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it can be difficult to keep your motivation up when you're doing the stuff that you just don't really care about. So
on the other hand, a different method, maybe buying yourself a bag of chocolates or something and saying that every time you get a certain amount of words written, you get to have something about that.
If you've got some self-control, that's an idea. If you don't have self-control, you just bought a bag of chocolates and you just ate a bag of chocolates.
Self-bribery.
So I will say, if your tedium is starting your chapter and you are having trouble starting your chapter because you have to go through an explanation of something that happened in the previous chapter or whatnot, I would say one thing about writing is you don't have to always start writing from the beginning. So if you want to write that cool stuff first and then write the more boring stuff to explain that cool stuff, that's fine as well.
In medias res the writing style.
Yeah.
I mean, if it turns out you have a really cool idea and you want to get to it and write it, you can still just write it and then just call it a one-shot. That's a thing you can also do if you just don't want to deal with the boring crap. Writing one-shots is a thing a lot of writers just do on fanfiction.net and just not bother with the long-form stories.
I mean, to be honest, that's basically what my story, Changing the Future Redone, is. Just several interconnected one-shots. I'd like to see some of them, some of the resulting storylines from the one-shots adapted into longer stories, but I don't have the creativity necessary to make something that'll measure up out of those. Not yet, anyway. So,
yeah, I mean, like I say, a lot of writers just do one-shots or do, say, I forget what it's called, but it's basically just a series of stories that they'll write in fits and starts and just have one story that is just a bunch of not really connected one-shots, and then maybe they'll do a second chapter of it.
The Drabbles?
Later on. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Drabbles.
Yeah. Like, Dogwood Carroll has done, like, hundreds of these, just over and over again, and when he gets bored with it, he'll move on to something else, and then if inspiration strikes and he wants to write a bit more, he'll write a bit more. And that's just how he does, and that can work as well. It's just doing the fun bits that you care about and then ignoring all the crap. I mean, if you're not having fun with it, then my question tends to be, why are you writing fanfiction?
Yeah, it's just a book of short stories.
The entire point of it is to have fun.
Yeah.
Even if you do have a Patreon page like some of us do, the main reason that you're doing it isn't for business, it's for pleasure.
Yeah.
Fun is the reason I do it now. The original reason I started that I could do it better than people shit talk. So
yeah. Well, yeah, like I say, a lot of people can just do that and enjoy it and have fun with it and not care. Some people get a bit more ambitious with it and want to have the long-form story and tell a real involved, deep, and compelling story over a long period of time.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You've got to take the good with the bad, though.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad is the boring bits that you don't want to have to do, but you have to do if you want to make it a good story. So,
And again, I will say that they're not boring if you can do them in interesting ways. That being said, if you're just not having fun writing your story, then that's when you should probably either write something else or and take a break or just not write it, because then what's the point? You're not getting paid for it.
question. Did those two big clicks just now come through the microphone?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my spine. Just thought everyone should know that.
Well, that's
Right.
fine.
You need
Yeah.
to stretch more.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Whatever happened to that whole working out thing?
That is the question, isn't it?
I had to
No.
go to the doctor's today and my legs were burning. It's like a 10-minute walk.
That answers that question.
Yeah, it was downhill too.
That's not the question. My opportunity to make that joke.
All right. Do we have another topic? We
We
have time.
Do we have time?
Well,
Yeah, I think we got time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at an hour and a half, so we got time for another topic, absolutely. No, we don't have to do Patreon this week, so that's fine. So next topic is Magic A is Magic A. So, for those unfamiliar, this is a trope. I guess I can link that in the link dump because I probably should.
Yeah.
So, Magic A is when a setting has a codified set of rules for how the setting works. So if you have a sci-fi setting, you explain how all the super fancy technology works and what rules govern it. So, for example, you have Mass Effect, where the main thrust of the fancy technology is there is an element that means mass is 0. And everything kind of extrapolates from there.
As another example, Death
Go ahead.
Note, where the titular notebook is capable of killing anyone whose name is written inside of it. And
And you can write in a method of death, and they will die, I think it was 40 seconds after you write the name in, unless you write in a method and it's like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah.
the finer mechanics, if you write someone's name, if you don't write a cause of death within 40 seconds, they die of a heart attack. Write the cause of death within 40 seconds, and it will happen. After writing the cause of death, details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds, which, for those paying attention, is 6.66 minutes. Significance there? Obvious.
Yeah.
Did not pick up on that, but yes. So,
I didn't watch Death Note.
As I
yeah, you did.
As I said on the podcast last week or the week before, fantastic story, fantastic concept, fantastic everything except for the dreadful way that it ended.
Yeah, we've had this conversation. So,
Moving onwards.
basically, the idea
having
of
set
Magic
rules.
the point of Magic A is it's important in a detail-oriented story. So like I say, science fiction, a lot of the time, it's a good idea to have.
Yeah.
If you're telling a story that is, the details are very important, like Death Note, it's a mystery story a lot of the time. So details are really freaking important.
Yeah. And if you have set rules, that really does allow you to do a lot with your particular story. As in, there's things that you can or can't do. There's possible ways to even maybe exploit the rules.
Yeah, if you have a set of rules, then you as the author know how you can manipulate them
Yeah.
without causing plot holes or contrived events, because the rules are there. People will understand, well, ideally some people will understand the rules and will be able to point them out to the people that don't, and will follow along and they'll buy it because there is a set of rules that are governing the story, And if you don't break those rules, then the story makes sense. It's
Yeah.
a good method for maintaining suspension of disbelief. If there's rules, people can follow those rules, and everything makes sense in the context of the story.
And those rules serve to limit particular aspects of the stories or particular powers or characters. Will also, it adds a sense of realism to the story in that we in society do have certain things that we can't really do because there's rules that of gravity or logic even that we can't quite break.
Yeah, like, there's some people that will argue if you bring up suspension of disbelief while you're talking about a sci-fi show or a fantasy show or whatever, they will say, oh, suspension of disbelief, there's people flying and shit. Yeah, but we established at the beginning that people can fly, but now people are also flying by burrowing through the ground. No one said that you could do that. That's not a thing. They explained how is that possible. They didn't bring it up, they didn't explain it, they're just doing it, and it makes no sense. That's how you break suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. By having those rules, people can follow along those rules and be like, okay, I can see how this makes sense in this context of the story.
Yeah. But if you don't intend on following those rules, and you end up just breaking them willy-nilly, then that's actually probably worse for suspension of disbelief. Because you made the rules, and then you broke the rules, and there's no point in having them in the first place.
Unless it's in the complete nonsense show, like, here's hoping this never comes up on Random A. Bo.
Oh, yeah, that show.
Yeah, I love that show. It makes no sense. It's great.
Did you hear
What if
from
you
the
turn
inflection?
around 1 second and all of a sudden Bobo's turned into a plane and there's no explanation why?
Did you hear the inflection of my voice? How show just coming up.
You faded out there.
You've been cutting out a lot, Kenji, for some reason. So.
Oh yeah, the disappointment in my voice when that show was brought up should have been clear.
You
I
cut
love
out.
that show because it makes no sense. I don't have to think when I watch it.
Yeah,
I don't think you think when you watch or read my light novel about the dude who's turned into a vending machine.
You know what?
But
There are things I like to read that are very thought-provocative and things that can take up a lot of my brain power. So sometimes you just need something that doesn't require any thought whatsoever.
we're going on a super tangent and we kind of don't have time for it right now.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do this topic, let's fucking do the topic. So, yeah, Bobo, whatever it is, it's not the kind of story where this sort of thing matters. It's kind of directly counter to this exact concept, so it's not really a thing we should be talking about.
Their battles are who can out-random each other.
Yeah, so
Why
are we talking about this now?
Yeah. But that again, its lack of rules isn't necessarily bad because that's the point.
Yeah, like, I think I've explained this concept before. There's basically when you're trying to tell an actual story, there's two real methods you can go for on it. There's details, there's drama. So a detail story, best example, Star Trek. There are rules, everything makes sense. They go into a lot of detail on the science and the culture and all that, so it makes as much sense as possible and everyone knows what's going on. Then there's drama, which is Star Wars, where there are some details, but most of the time they're very vague.
They tried to add more details in the prequels.
They did, and it ran counter to what the story actually was.
Yeah.
It didn't help, it just made it worse. Because for a drama story, explaining everything is kind of not the point. I mean, a drama story, you are allowed to have a bit of mystery with how things work because no one really knows. That's sometimes the point. So,
How about those midichlorians?
yeah. Yeah. Way to explain religion. Thanks, George Lucas. Religion is all about little microbes in your fucking bloodstream. Moron.
He tried to. It basically when you choose to be, when you make your story more rules orientated or drama orientated, you can't really try to cross the streams and have both. Otherwise,
It doesn't work. Once you have one, once you've picked one, that's basically where your story is going to go. And trying to release a guidebook on how everything works is just going to confuse people. Comparatively, like I pretty much just explained how you can go the wrong way from details to drama, where if you have all the rules and then you suddenly break them without any explanation, everyone's going to lose their shit because they knew what the score was and then suddenly everything changed for no reason.
Yeah. Like, it's the difference between, say, a person one day has the ability to fly and focusing on how that ability affects him and his relationships with everybody in the world around him, versus now all of a sudden we're finding out the main plot of why he can suddenly fly and why all people are awakening to powers. There's a difference in the direction you're going.
Yeah, which now that we've actually explained how you can't go from one to the other, I'm kind of going to bring up the reason why I brought this topic up in the first place.
Yeah.
Which was me writing Whitest Man in Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Where I try and make the Elder Scrolls magic system make logical sense.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I was kind of making a drama-first story a details-first story.
Yeah. But
now,
you weren't...
I'm going to try and hand-wave how that's okay in this instance.
You weren't going, like, super into detail. You were just trying to flesh out the game systems because it didn't give you much to go on.
It doesn't give you much to go on. It gives you a bit, but even then, the bits that it gives you don't make much sense. So my method there was basically, yes, Skyrim on the face of it is a drama-first story. Nothing is required to make much sense. Even in the sense of a drama-first story, it doesn't really make much sense anyway. But what I was trying to do is basically just you start over from scratch, and now it's a details-first story, and we're going to tell it as that. You can still do that. So for fanfiction, if you want to write a Star Wars story and just tell it as a details-first story, you probably could. It'd be a very different story from Star Wars, but you could still write it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, the big problem a lot of people had with Phantom Menace and the other prequels is it didn't feel like Star Wars anymore, and that's the hurdle you're going to deal with most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think we've covered that topic. Basically, choose whether or not you want to have rules, and don't break them, please.
Yeah, if you have rules, don't break them. If you don't have rules, the story usually still has to make a modicum of sense, but, you know, you can play a bit more fast and loose with it.
Yeah, it's different focuses in writing.
Anything anyone wants to add?
Nothing from me.
And Kenchi's gone silent, or quite
I
possibly
said
has
not
cut
really.
out. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Or he did, and he just cut out conveniently.
That was the joke. Yeah. Okay. We do have another topic, but we're kind of running up on it now. It's an hour 45 roundabout, I'd guess.
Well, the question is, do any of us have any recommendations this week? Because I
That
did.
is the final topic, as always, so...
I do, actually.
Recommendations. So, Kenchi has one, so... Go, Kenchi.
All right. I'm not sure this has been recommended. I don't think it has, so I checked back to see if it was. So hopefully I didn't miss anything. This is a Ruby fic.
Okay.
It's called Not This Time, Fate. By... I don't know how to say this author's name. I don't know what language it would be in. So I'm going to butcher it right now.
Okay.
Kor Alaran. It's this author.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for butchering your name, author.
I didn't know you read Ruby stuff, but okay.
There are many things you'll know about. I'm special like that.
He's the international man of mystery, didn't you know?
Indeed.
So he is.
Hey, I actually am internet. Whatever. I'm not gonna. No tangents. So basically, the story is. Yes.
Yeah, it's core Alaram. Yeah.
Thank you for making me look fine. I appreciate
I
that.
think that's pretty much what you said. So.
All right. Well, let's see. So basically, the plot of the story is his favorite blonde dude, John.
Yeah.
Basically, he keeps getting killed repeatedly. At a particular point in time, like and basically, everything goes to shit, and it goes to shit at the same time each time it respawns. Always start back again when he's 15 years old, I believe. So he has to live his life up until that point. He dies every single time, and no matter what he does, no matter what he plans, no matter what he tries to do to prevent anything, he's still getting killed. He still winds up failing. Nothing goes right, and I forget how many times. He's forgotten how many times he's respawned. So this time around, he just decides, yeah, I'm just gonna I don't care about this. This is my break life. Like a few chapters into this story, he just decides, I'm not planning anything. I'm not train. I'm not their scheme. This is my free play. I'm just gonna do what I want. I'm not going to Beacon. And well, from that point on, it's just see how that. It doesn't work out at all. And it's mostly humor based. Like after the point where he no longer gives a fuck, like he just starts playing everything like I'm not going to Beacon. When he goes to Beacon, he's like, I'm just gonna fail out of Beacon anyway. As long as I'm gone before the thing that's supposed to happen happens, I don't care. It's just basically him trying to get expelled, and it doesn't work, and he eventually he bonds with this team. Stuff. Pretty funny. The way this person writes, he does a good job of, like, it's funny. You can really tell that John is messed up. Respawns. Like he just does not care about himself in any way, shape. And he can't see the people as like they are in that life. He keeps like he's been around them so many times in so many different nations. He just sees them at first he just sees them as another respawn version of themselves. Like he can't see them as just themselves. Even down to his own family. I recommend it. It's kind of more cerebral than it first glance. Stupid comedy. And there's a lot of
okay. I don't know what's going on with your either internet or microphone there, Ken, but you've been
how much of that did you not?
Some of it. We got the gist of most of it. Basically, Jean keeps dying, and he's gotten so frustrated with it that he's basically trying to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And he is messed up in the head, and he does not really connect with people anymore because he's just been around them through so many resets that he doesn't even know them every time that he comes back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We basically got the gist of it, yeah. Okay. Anyone else for a recommendation?
Nothing from me.
I tried reading some Persona fics, and then I regretted it because I couldn't find anything that I really wanted. And a lot of them were kind of cringy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I know it'll cheer you up.
Mm,
I have a hyena on my shoulder.
you do.
Looks like he's trying to eat my head.
I know what'll make you depressed, Zero. Hey, you remember that Persona 4 fic where one of the good guys was a pedophile?
Please don't.
That did the opposite of cheer him up.
That was the point. I said I was going to make him sad, and I succeeded. All right. I've got nothing, by the way.
Actually, there is one story that I could recommend. Something of an older story. Let me just see if I can find it here.
Alrighty.
There it is. It's there was another one by this. No, it's just that one. Okay, so basically, the story is called Life After Death Note. Obviously, it's meant to be a continuation of the series. Something that happened after Death Note occurred. The basis of the plotline is that 6 years after... Spoilers for the plot of Death Note for anyone listening. 6 years after L's death, he wakes up in a hospital bed, having been brought back to life by a special means.
Please don't say Life Note.
Oh, no.
Life Note? Is that a thing?
It's not. In some stories it is.
Of course
But
it is.
The Life Note.
as I was saying, the method through which he's revived, the technicalities of it are revealed much later. But basically, it's following L after he's brought back to life and comes back into the world, briefly living on his own before, well, one of the people from the old Kira task force spotted him. So they started trying to find him. Finding someone who was impersonating the original L would be something of a matter of interest, especially for his successor. So they tried to track him down. He played around with them a bit, and then another Kira came into the picture because, of course. But it goes from there, and honestly, it's a pretty interesting plot, all things considered, and not a bad continuation of the series that I'd like to see published. But as I said, it's a pretty old story. It finished in 2010, so...
Fair enough.
Even so, obviously I'm recommending it here, so it's a good story.
Fair play. Don't actually see a lot of good Death Note stories.
No, you really don't see a lot of good Death Note stories, to my chagrin.
Yeah, a lot of them just end with dudes fucking. That's pretty much the... I mean, that's fanfiction in a nutshell, but still, it's Death Note has a particularly high quotient in that category.
But yeah, I've found... In my time on this site, on fanfiction, I found only 4 Death Note stories that I added to my favorites list, and of those, one was a Mary Sue self-insert that I only liked because I was new to fanfiction at the time.
Oh yeah, been there. Read a One Piece story like that. Oops.
Yeah.
I did see one good concept a long time ago. I think it was old even then. It was like 2008 was the last time it had updated. But it was basically Light never finds the Death Note. So he goes on with his life being miserable and empty. And L eventually finds him because Light's a fucking genius of some sort. Which is more or less canon. And then L tries to save him because Light is incredibly depressed because his life is boring and empty, by his estimation. It went into some weird directions. Naturally, it ended with some dudes fucking, but like I say, it's Death Note. So, but it was pretty good. Few too many suicide attempts for my liking. It was a miserable story, and those elements weren't handled particularly well, but it was interesting enough. Oh well. That's not a recommendation, by the way. I don't remember what it's called. I don't really care. It probably exists somewhere, but if you want to try and find it, you're welcome to. I'm not gonna. I guess we'll call that an episode. That's about... Yeah, we're about time. Close enough.
Alright, unless Kenji or Zero has any more recommendations.
No way. Once a week, or else I'll run out.
Yeah, you will.
I'm probably out again right now.
Yeah,
We'll see you next week.
remember when you didn't have anything for like 5 months in a row?
Oh, you mean last week?
Yeah.
I mean, I could recommend crappy light novels, but I've been trying to sort through them to find actually really good ones, so...
Yeah, and to stop recommending those so I stop yelling at you every time you do it.
You mean like that vending machine one?
Like the vending machine one, yes.
The vending machine one I recommended purely because it was ridiculous, though.
Yeah, lol, so random, right?
Yeah, and also they somehow made it work because it ended up... I won't talk about it anymore.
Okay, so I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode 150. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so through the YouTube channel, through the comments. Please don't know Patreon if you feel so inclined. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast episode 150. Bye now.
Bye.